Welcome everyone, YAAAAAY here. YAAAAAY's got a channel on YouTube, and we've got another T.C.O match. I just messaged afjak and said, "Do you want to do a match?" Sure. We're both using new decks. And for this opening bit, I put it at 400%, so it's at super speed. So, anyways, this is afjak's Fear the Sandman deck, and you can see how fast everything is. So, anyways, his deck is based around double Arcanon. So his creatures are 2 Ursus, Zamool, 2 Arcanons, and a Fluidmorphous Foe. And so his basic idea is engage with Zamool, who has the Eagle Wings of Attraction. You stop your opponent from playing Mujican abilities, and then you just heal and deal with the Arcanons, pulling counters from the Ursus. The 2 of them, and then he's got Boros Arsenals, and both the Arcanons have Baldur's Flutes. So as you'll see in a bit, Arcanon is a Mepeti Muge, and his ability is he can pull, so it's sacrifice a counter, deal 5, sacrifice a counter, heal 10. And he can pull counters from other Muges on your team to use his ability. So that's why this deck is really good. So his Mujics are, as you can see, 2 cannons, and then like I said, the site screws up all the pictures for Zenith with the high Mujic. So his Mujic is not Infectious Melody, but mine is. The Serenade of Subordinates you see in my hand is actually Infectious Melody. And like, yeah, God. So this scribbling there is for 2 Ursus, because Ursus is crazy rare. Anyways, so he's got 2 cannons, Gear Glissando, Fighter's Fanfare, and 2 refrains. My Mujics are, as you can see, Ode to Obscurity, Refrain, Cadence, Strain of Infection, Infectious Melody, and Song of Symmetry. And so you can see my deck is Infection, it's all the creatures. All these guys were in my 10v10 match, and I've just condensed it. It's more Earth, Water, Courage, so his Boros Arsenal pops up. So he sacks both the flutes on both his Arcanons, and then he's going to bring back one to sack it again. So his Arcanons will gain a total of 3 counters. I'm going to put all those counters on my Macrobond so I can infect, and then his Fluidmorphous Foe is going to gain counters. Fluidmorphous Foe has a Muge's Tuning Fork to cast his Fighter's Fanfare, and one of his cannons, since Zamool only has 1 counter. Both Ursus have Vial of Liquid Thought, because Ursus can get away with any gear because his energy is super high, so he's just going to sack it and bring back his good attacks. Now, in my first match versus afjak, I just realized that I made some silly mistakes, because the text on the Vial of Liquid Thought reads, when you sacrifice it and swap an attack, the bad attack that you discard doesn't go to your attack discard, it goes back into your attack pile. So I didn't know that, because I just didn't read, because I assumed it goes into your attack pile because you swap them. So I'm sorry for that mistake. I honestly thought, I never knew that. I never bothered to really read it. Anyway, so as you can see the double Arcanons, he's already got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's got 9 counters between the 2 of them. Fluidmorphous Foe has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 counters, because I sacked and brought back and sacked again my Macrobon suit. Alright, so the blue counters you see in this match, when we were playing it, those blue counters you see right now were red. But anyways, any blue counters you see, we use those to represent infection, since this is my infection deck. So we just didn't want to get confused. So then I'm playing my Infectious Melody off Topar, who is infected because you see the blue counter on him. So then I just infect another 2 creatures. And so my basic idea for this deck was, but I never got to use it, you know, infect, heal Fleandar, reinfect, use Orbon's ability in Hive, fight with Draz. Draz is just a good fighter. But none of that happened because of Zamool, because he takes Zamool into Fleandar right away. So Zamool's ability is opponents may not play magic or abilities, which really sucked, because I wanted to use Fleandar's ability so bad, because it's so badass, but I didn't. So Fleandar has a Drill Dozer, so put me at 80 energy. I get an initiative since I have 75 wisdom. So as you can see in my hand, all my attacks are going to deal 15 damage since I win the Don't Have Bravery Challenge, so I'm going to play that first. Deals Zamool 15 damage. And so, since you can see what cards a deck has on this site, I had already looked at this deck, so I knew what to expect. And I was really afraid, because Zamool is really scary. Zamool decks are really tough. And when I messaged him, I was like, I pray, because he has a bunch of other decks up. I was like, I pray he doesn't use this deck, because as soon as he posted it, and I looked at it, I was like, crap, this is scary. This is really good. And so for this first battle, I guess he was just kind of feeling me out. I saw him playing these low damage attacks, and I was like, Oh, maybe he's not going to play that thing. And also, going into this match, again, me misreading text, I thought it was because I have a Shard of Solitude, and I thought that was the same ability of Zamool, which is only unengaged creatures cannot play music or abilities, but no, it's just with Zamool, your opponent, when he's engaged. So that really sucked. So I put my Geyser Gush for 15, and I'm getting him down. I had the energy advantage, but I know he will be able to pull some heal. I wouldn't be able to stop his heal anyways, but I can't use my music. And so his Shadow Strike does nothing. And again, I know he will beat me in this battle. I was really afraid for this whole match. Is like, man, because the thing is, I rolled a 1, he rolled a 6, so he got first turn. If I had gotten first turn, I have my Bimower cycle on Topar. He has no defender. So my creature, I assume I would have easily beaten an Arcannon. Nothing's for sure, but I just assume I could have beaten an Arcannon with my 3 good fighters up in the front. And so that would have changed the face of the entire match. And then obviously that would have increased my chance of winning because then he wouldn't be able to heal and deal with the Arcannons. And yeah, so, everything can hinge on a single battle. The first battle forms the way the match will look. Anyways, I played my Lane Tenacity, he played his Grovel Grind, he removed my Infectious Melody from the game, because that's what Grovel Grind is for. And so he draws Fearless Strike for 25 damage. And so at this point he's really wearing me down, and I know I can't heal. And so every time I get him down to like 5 or 10 energy, he just heals again with our cannon, pulling counters off of Ursus. Then he plays his cannon. But the thing I love about my deck, about Topar, is if my guy is infected and they're targeted by magic or ability, then I uninfect them and negate that magic or ability. So then this is me thinking I could play my Song of Street, but I couldn't. And with Topar's ability, he pulls a really cool thing later in the match, which you'll see. But anyways, he plays a cannon off his Flutemorphous Foe with a tuning fork, since he can, since I negated his first one, and then he just deals me 5 damage with one of our cannon's counters. And so I was really sad because Fleandar's cool. He's an ultra rare. So anyways, enough about that. Alright, so now this is a problem because Zamool with his Battle Gear face up is in my center, so I have to attack him with, honestly, I want to keep him in mind back there. So I'm going to attack him with Draz or Orban, and I choose Orban. Coral Forest doesn't matter, but I get initiative. And Narcoban activates Hive, so Orban has 80 energy. So I play Geyser Gush for 15 damage. Orban's Battle Gear is the Orcus Sunday, and then you can see he draws Tarantula Tackle there, which will, no, he just played the Earth Shape. Alright, so I drew Tactic Strike, so I'm going to play the Marksman's first for 30 damage. And I get him down to 10, and I'm at my full 80. So he's just playing his Earth Pulse for 15. And then I don't win the Courage Challenge, but the rest Toxic will still do 10 damage. But he still has ample counter, so he just heals. And then now he plays Torrential Tackle. So it's 25 damage, and I lose my water attacks, since my speed and power are below 50. So Tactic Strike, Fluid Flame, Deluge of June. So I just decided to play the Fluid Flame, because, I can't win. This whole match was just kind of like, okay, it's gonna take something really good. I need to use up his counters in order to beat him. So it's my Fluid Flame to get my water. I play we exchange Primal Smashes, but he Fighter's Fanfare is mine, so it just does its damage to me. So Orban bites it. I move up Draz. Draz is infected. His other Bulbous Arsenal comes up, and so he brings back his Flute. I bring back my Flute, but I don't sacrifice mine. Yeah, but he sacrifices his. And so, just move around the counters. There's so many counters on the board here. And since my Macrobon gains counters, I infect, Nadrine will gain a counter. And he takes his Ursus into Draz for a change. So Draz has a Drill Dozer for additional energy. He sacks his Vial to bring back his Torrential Tackle, and then his Earth Shape goes to the bottom of his attack deck, per the text of Vial Liquid Thought. And so this shapes up to be a good battle. I have initiative by 5, by 40 wisdom, he has 35. We both have really high energy, and Dryas has Earth 5, and I activated Hive, so I play Deluge of Doom for 25 damage. And this is kind of an all or nothing situation because I need to get rid of a creature. I need to kill somebody, and then I'll have to fight Zamool next turn. No matter what, so I might as well get rid of Ursus. So I play Tech to Strike for 40 damage. And also, this is my only chance to play my music. Pretty much so I play Song of Symmetry. To try and take him down to 0. He tries to refrain, but I cadence his refrain. And so Draz defeats Ursus, but my Dribblezer does go to the discard because I only have 15 speed. Alright, so Draz defeats Ursus. I've got tempo, but he moves his other Ursus up in the Hive Gallery, and so it's all or nothing. I think I meant to activate Hive, but I didn't, or something. Anyways, Draz attacks Zamool. Again, all or nothing. This is it. I really need to get rid of Zamool here. And I have enough for the challenge, so Rest Toxic does 35 damage. Places Gravel Grind for 10, and then he removes my Dozer. Plays Shadow Strike for 15. I am dealing more damage than usual here. So, hopeful. I have 50 energy, he has 5. He plays Earth Pulse for 15 damage. But he still has lots of counters left, and I know that. And of course he knows that. I play my Gravel Grind for 15. I remove his Fighter's Fanfare because I know he has Castle Bodger, and I don't want that coming back. So he sacks one of his counters to deal 5 to Draz, so that gets negated, but Draz gets unaffected. So I lose my Earth 5, he sacks 4 to deal 20, and then he sacks his other counters to deal the additional damage to Draz. So he only has the 2 counters left on Nadrin, and Draz bites it. And so what I do there is I sack my Bimotorcycle to move up because at this point he can attack whoever he wants. And I just want to, because then I can get close to his Arcanons. And so I was trying to make him, because Namai can still get superpower, and if he had, it's Rock River Canyon's his location. But he just decides to move this guy's over because I guess he didn't want me to have the extra energy or something. So I just skipped playing. Alright, so I play Strain Infection, which was a really stupid thing to do on my part. I didn't need the counters. I just played it because I don't even know. The counters didn't matter. I had enough to pay for the O2 Obscurity and to activate Hive and stuff, so all that did, this was my downfall. This is Nadrin gains counters, and then he uses those counters later in the match to defeat me. And because of the North Range ability, whatever I pay for the O2 Obscurity to infect, I get double it because I chose, technically I control a non-Danian. So I didn't need the counters, and the Strange Infection was really stupid. And anyways, Namai goes into Zamool, activated Hive, so he's super powered, and I have to shuffle. But yeah, this is kind of an all or nothing situation, and it really is. Because, and even at this point, if he does beat my, if I do beat Zamool, he still has Ursus. And he plays Gear Glissando on that Ursus, on that Vile Hypnothought, flip it up, and then he sacrifices it. So we set our energy, my Namai is at 95. And so I played Mineral Mayhem, he plays Fearless Strike. I play Spirit Gust, my hand was really not good there. And so what he did was he used Nadrin's counters to target all my guys so they all get uninfected. And then because my Hive is on, then I lose energy and stats. And I should actually be at selling because I added the 5 energy that Namai, because Nadrin targeted him with his ability. But he actually, I shouldn't have gained 5 energy because the ability was negated. And then so you can see his hand is 2 Tarantula Tackles, and I'm at 80 energy, and he just did me 30, so you can see where this is going. But of course I didn't know this when I was playing, so I played my marksmans for 30. At this point I have hope, because maybe I can beat him, but, you know, in the back of my mind it was like, oh, he played his Vile, he obviously brought one back, so he just there. I didn't know he had the other one in his hand, though. I assumed he would have one, but then I don't know. I just didn't, and I shouldn't have destroyed my gear there because my speed and power were over 50. So I play my Earth Pulse. I get him down to 10, and then this is why me playing that Strain Infection was really stupid because he used Nazrin's remaining counters to have Zamool gain energy. So if I hadn't played that, I would have been able to beat Zamool with that Earth Pulse. So my bites it, and that's pretty much the end for me. But I obviously play out the last two battles just because that's what I do. I don't really like to forfeit. And I had free time, so it wasn't really that big a deal. So it's Ursus into Macrobon and Rock River Canyon. He plays Divine Snare for 10. I just play Fluid Flame. And, well, yes, this battle is really important. So, some things I learned from this match. I could have, if I had an Ice Disc in this deck, which I was considering putting in when I was making it, that would have helped me exponentially much, because eliminating all his heal from the air cannons. But you know, hindsight is 20/20, as they say. Some other stuff. Well, Song of Stasis would have been good, but this is a Danian deck, so that doesn't really matter. I have Mipid Mirage, so that can kind of counteract Zamool if you're lucky. I don't know, not really much else I could have done. I guess maybe a gear grind to keep his gear face down, or something like that. But this is really scary good deck, so there's not much anybody can do to stop it aside from the condensation ceremony or Dranicus threshold or things like that. And so he's just wearing down my Macrobon. He plays Sediment Storm Shield there. Playing my Gravel Grind for 10 damage. And I remove his flute, I think, or whatever that was. Yeah, he plays Earth Pulse for 15. Play Geyser Gush for 10. I obviously don't expect to beat Ursus. Plays his Sediment Storm, he draws his other torrential tackle since he shuffled his attack deck. I play Rust Toxic for 10 damage. It was kinda close, 15 to 40, but he kills me with the torrential tackle. So about this match, yeah, it was a really good deck. Kudos to afjak. This deck is OP, did its job. Ursus Arcanine was a good combo. I congratulate him on making this deck. For everybody watching, links to both of the decks will be in the description bar, as always, so you can vote and comment on those decks on Trade Cards Online. So it's Zamool versus, or no, Ursus versus Topar in the Hive Gallery. And so my Topar has enough for the Courage Challenge, so that Link Tenacity actually did 20 damage. Or Daunting Bravery, sorry. And I play the second one, he plays Scroll Grind to remove my Flute. So Ursus doesn't have enough for the challenge, so the Shadow Strike does nothing. I play Tactus Strike for 25 damage. Plays his other one. The one time in the match when his hand was bad, because he ran out of his files. And I actually beat his Ursus with my Topar somehow. Killed him with the Shadow Strike. Doesn't really matter because, you know. Well, I don't know. I was almost hopeful, but I already played my Earth Shape, my Fluid Flame, so I can't get those back. I played most of my Courage attacks, and plus Zamool has the same amount. So I know at this point I have pretty much zero chance of beating Zamool. Because, and yeah, I was waiting for another one of his Fearless Strikes to come up because he has 2 in this deck. So that one does me 25 damage. And I lose this battle and the match in a sec. So I thank everybody for watching. I hope everyone enjoyed. Please comment below on what you like about the match, about the decks. If you just want to talk to me, if you want to play me, message me on Trade Cards Online or on YouTube, or just comment on this video. Any codes, Topher with the Strange Tackle. Kudos to Zamool, he was a really annoying opponent. Steve Player out. Peace, everybody.